Hey, what's up guys, I'm Woozle Gaming and today we are going to be doing the damage talent respec. Now, if you haven't already checked out the healing one, assuming that you might be a healer watching this, go check that one out now because I'm going to actually be changing my healing one in this video back to the damage one. Costing me another 25k gold. I've done so many tests with this. I've actually spent 100k gold on talent respec so I can get the spreadsheets up so I know what to be changing for and to kind of give you guys the priority on what to work for. So even though you might not be able to get all the skills up to the level that I can get them to, you know what to work on first, and that is the main point of this video. So going to my infinite right now, if you don't know what happens when you use the Rune treasure, it adds all of your essences and all your items to the talent table. Now I'm going to show you that in just a second. So click use, click confirm. And then when we go to skills, go to rune upgrade, you see all of your items at the top. So if you have used iron cast irons, you don't get them back. They actually add to the table. You can't withdraw them as far as I'm aware, at least. Nah, I don't think there is a way. So you have to use them wisely. I wouldn't suggest using any just yet. As you can see, I've not used any myself. It's only really there if you have extras and if you've got insane greeds on your armor. Anyways though, I've just reset all of these. I'm going to go through, sort all of them out, and I'm going to go through each one individually with you. So just give me 1 minute. Okay, so I've just finished distributing all of my skills in the talents, and I'm going to go and show you them now. Now I'm going to give you the priority list on what you want to be doing first. So starting off with the far left column, you're going to want to go to Deadly Void. Your top priority is increase the dreadful damage by 20%, so you want to get that to level 40. And then after that, you'll be working on Void Mastery. Now, you want to go Void Mastery to about 20, after which you're going to go to Ignorance and work on Fearless. After you get Fearless to level 40, you're going to have increased Dread Blast damage by 40%. After that, you're then going to go back to Void Mastery and work on the cooldown. So as you can see, I'm actually level 40 in both of these and 40 in Fearless. Now, after you've actually got level 40 in all three of these, for some reason, I get a lot of red crystals, so that's why I've got 3 level 40s. You'll then go down to Intelligence and start working on Phantom. The reason you'll be working on Phantom is because some situations, Mystics, DPS Mystics in this case, might need to use Arcane Shield, whether if it's for a very intense boss fight where you really need the shields on the tanks or on specific people, or Elemental Lords or whatever it is you might be doing. It does add a little bit of extra damage when you do need to use the Arcane Shield. So just keep that in mind. However, the Void Secrets is top priority, followed by Fearless, and then you work on the Void Mastery. So going straight to the middle column. Now, the middle column is actually the biggest difference for Mystic DPS. I was actually surprised how much of a difference this makes for damage in general for your class. So, top priorities in the first. You really want to get the Ancient Contract to level 40. Now, what this does is it increases the spell damage by an extra 20% of the original Arcane Realm. So the Arcane Realm gives you a 10% spell damage increase plus the 20%, giving you a total of 30% spell damage. And basically, you'll always use your Sigil before you use Suppression. Now, if you do get really lucky to get a Suppression reset and you don't have your Sigil off cooldown, you go to someone else's Sigil and then you use Suppression. Suppression is where all the damage comes from your Mystic, and you really need to pay attention to the sigils that you have, to the sigils that your team has, and make sure you're always inside of one before you use Suppression. And that there, I don't know what's if max, it makes a massive difference, like a massive difference. And that's why you want to work on this first. It was the biggest damage gain out of everything in the middle column. Now, Arcane Realm, I've kind of just started leveling that up, but I'll get to that in just a second. Top priority, Ancient Contract. After that, you want to start working on Distress. Distress has, in this case, a percentage of a chance of giving the Wrath status that increases your crit rate by 20% after Dread Blast has been used. So when you use Dread Blast, you have a small chance of getting the Distress. In my case, I have 19.5%. And the 20% crit, including the extra crit that you get from the Dread skill, which we'll come to in a second again, is again a massive DPS gain. Obviously, it's only a DPS gain when you get the buff. At level 40, it's a 20% chance, 1 in 5. Dread Blast comes off cooldown pretty quick, so you're pretty much getting at least 1 or 2 buffs from this on average every single minute. So you're getting quite a lot of these throughout the fight. Now, also remember, Dread Blast can also reset Suppression. If you get Dread Blast and you also get the distress buff, and you get the reset on suppression, or if your suppression is about to come off cooldown, it actually adds a massive difference to your damage once again. So using Dread Blast when you got over 2 seconds left on your suppression, and you can get the distress, but from that, once the 2 seconds are finished, you use suppression. It lasts for the full duration of the distress. That's why you should always use Dread Blast if your suppression has got 2 seconds or slightly more left on the cooldown. So keep that in mind. I'm actually going to do a revamped damage video for Mystics if you guys would like one, to show you the improvements that you can make to your damage since my previous video, which I did so long ago now. Okay, so obviously distress, second priority. So you've got the Ancient Contract followed by the distress. Now after that, I did get the Arcane Realm to 15. Now it's between 15 and 20. I was at 20 before. It's basically when other people enter your sigil, they get a buff for the specific period of time. However, if they stay in it, they still get the buff regardless until it runs out. It's just the duration after the sigil runs out, they get that small little buff. So it's not really essential. It's not needed. I'm actually going to leave mine at 15 for now. I might get it to 20, but the next priority is actually Dread. The reason is Dread increases the crit bonus of the distress. So it's only really good if you've got a high level in distress. That's why distress, again, is second in priority. So once your distress is up to level 40, you can then start working on Dread. Dread will then increase the crit bonus effect of distress by 10.5%. So that can actually go up to a total of 20%, giving you a total of 40% crit rate just for using Dread Blast. And that, in conjunction of the suppression, is insane damage, especially inside a light sigil. Now, do keep in mind, if you are a newer player and you can't even get one of these to level 40, which is going to happen, you want to work on, obviously, Ancient Contract first, get that to level 20, go Fear Seed, go to Distress, get that to level 20, and then you just work on Ancient Contract to 30, do the same to the Distress, get that to 30, then you go back down to the Ancient Contract and get that to 40, and then you work on the Distress until you get that to 40, and then you can work on the Dread, and then you can also work on the Arcane Realm. Now again, something little to keep in mind, the first 10 levels doesn't cost much, so you can throw the 10 into Arcane Realm, you can also throw 10 into Dread, and it's not going to take much of the budget out of your crystals. I would heavily suggest it just for those extra early levels that do make a big difference. So get those level 10, then you can get those level 20, then you focus on the level 40s. Thought I'd just throw that out there. I don't want people to think, oh, I'm going to go straight to 40 and completely neglect the other skills. You will lose damage. It's more for the lower people, the newer people starting out. However, this is more for the more advanced players where you can actually get level 40s and work on that. So I thought I just had to throw that in there, especially with the middle column being such a massive damage gain. Anyways, the last column is actually probably the worst column, in terms of damage at least. So your top priority is stability. Now, 10% normal attack damage, it's just an extra 10% damage increase when you're using auto attacks. It's good. It's the best one in the column. Get that one straight to 40 as soon as possible. Now, again, if you're a newer player, get it to 30, then you can work on the next one. Then come back to this and get that to 40. Now, the next one you're going to want to work on is the Introspection, which increases the force of will damage by 19%. Well, at level 40, it'd be 20%, but it's not really that great. Force of will isn't the best of skills. It's a damage gain over the other skills, but it's not the best. So you're going to want to get that to 40, obviously, as the second in priority compared to the stability. However, you want to get the stability a lot sooner than this. So you get this to level 20. You can even get the decreased force of will cooldown to level 20 as well. So you can get those both to level 20. As long as you get stability to level 40 immediately after that, you should be good to go. So you go 40 stability, 20 in each of these, work on the Introspection next, and then you can work on the core, which just decreases the cooldown. After which, the others are fairly useless in all fairness. Like, this is like PvP related, that one's healing related. You're not going to be using Aurora as a Magellanas Judgment anyway. Even if you're playing a healing spec in your Magellanas, you're still not going to be using Aurora, so that one's pretty wasted. However, the Endurance is good for PvP as well, and if you do a lot of PvP, you can throw some extras in there too. Now, I've kind of gone through the priority for each column, because obviously you get the red, you get the yellow, and you get the blue crystals. But please keep in mind, Once you've got all of these to level 40 or to levels that you are happy with, you do get HP points from putting them in the other skills. So for example, all these little level 1s, you can throw them crystals in to level 10 just to get the extra HP. It's not much, it does add up, but that would be like the final kind of end game goal. But yeah, I felt the need to kind of add it because not many people kind of mention it. Anyways though, I hope you guys have enjoyed the DPS guide. It does increase your damage by a buttload, and I really hope that this will help a lot of you improve your characters. I can tell you now that this increased my damage from my previous setup by nearly 1k DPS, just from wiggling it around a tiny bit and going and changing my priorities pretty much. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all for my next video. Take care everyone, and have a good day.